I'm Bob Senecope, Milton Academy Jazz Director, and this is
Frances Scanlon,
who happens to be my wife, and a photographer, and we welcome you to her first photo exhibit called Ubuntu, and it's photos of Milton Academy Jazz South Africa tours. So we have an official opening this Friday, and from 5:30 to 7, and we hope you can join us in person, but if not, we hope you enjoy this video, and we will miss you, but you'll be here in spirit. So we'd like to share with you how the Milton Academy Jazz program got connected with South Africa. And here's a panel that I'm going to read from. The journey begins. In 1990, Milton Academy Jazz Director Bob Senecope, that's me, heard a recording of South African jazz pianist-composer Abdullah Ibrahim and was mesmerized by his music. In an effort to bring this wonderful music to our students, I made a pilgrimage to New York that summer to hear Abdullah and his band Akaya perform. Thus, the dream was born. A year later, through the connection of Milton parent and Abdullah's Cape Town friend Julian Beinart, Abdullah was invited to come to Milton and perform a solo piano concert to benefit a scholarship fund for Black South African students to attend Milton. Abdullah arrived on campus Friday morning, September 27, 1991, and entered midway into a morning performance of Milton jazz students performing his compositions. Upon hearing the students, Abdullah, with tears in his eyes, rushed to the stage and invited them to tour South Africa with him. That evening, during Abdullah's concert, he repeated his invitation from the stage. Thanks to the tremendous support of the Milton Academy administration, community, parents, and donors, and the efforts of Bob Senecope and Janet Levine, Milton English teacher and former Johannesburg City Councilwoman, the invitation became a reality. In February 1992, Bob and Janet led 12 Milton students to tour South Africa with a group perform concerts and experience South Africa firsthand in the apartheid era. This first tour began ongoing and meaningful connections between Milton Academy and dozens of South African schools and foundations that have blossomed into transformational experiences for the many who participated. These visual arts exhibition photographs were taken by Frances Scanlon. They are a small sampling that documents some of the many musical interactions, events, and life-changing experience for the many students, parents, and faculty who journeyed together along with the South African people who were privileged to meet along the way. 11 Milton Academy Jazz South Africa tours, 126 performances, 352 tour participants, $205,000 in donated materials delivered to South African schools equals countless life-changing experiences. And this is an incredible timeline made with incredible skill and love by Frances Scanlon of all 11 of our tours. I wish you could see this up close. It has all the people on each tour, and it has our itinerary each tour, and it has a photo of some of the places we've been. And each tour is kind of like a child. It has a life of its own. They've all been spectacular and life transformational for many people. So anyway, this is just a wonderful capture of those 11 tours. And this map shows many of the places we've been. We've really traveled extensively in several different cities: Johannesburg, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Gaithersburg, Kruger, Drakensberg, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, Port Elizabeth, Plettenberg Bay, Cape Town, Garden Route. It's been South Africa is a beautiful country, and we're fortunate to have experienced it. We've also made an incredible number of special friends. These 6 South Africans in particular have had a lasting effect on us, and I just want to read their names. Chats Debro, who's my best musical friend there and has helped us so much. Stan Goodenough, who's head of the, he's our tour guide, and he's an extraordinary human being. We're so blessed to have him, and Bundu Bashers as our friend. Janet Levine, of course, who's native South African. She's retired now from her English teaching at Milton. Lulu Gansana, wonderful drummer friend of ours who unfortunately passed away. Salam Akasana, who was the director of the Amy Beale Foundation, and sadly he's left us. And Johnny Mekwa, who founded the Music Academy of Gauteng, a longtime friend, has brought his students here. So we just want to recognize those people among the dozens and dozens of amazing friendships we've cultivated there. Also, I'd like to just share with you the Milton Academy students have delivered over $205,000 worth of donated materials. And I'd just like to read the names because we're so grateful for the people who gave, the companies, and the many dozens of individuals, too numerous to list. Some people want to remain anonymous, so we just decided, you know who you are. We love you. We're grateful. These companies allowed us the privilege of delivering donated materials on their behalf, and I'd like to read their names. Alfred Publishing, Berkeley Press, D'Addario Reeves, DR Strings, Fishman Transducers, GIA Publishing, Hal Leonard Publishing, Jamie Abersol Jazz Books, Jazz at Lincoln Center, Kendor Music, Make Music, Nouveau, Park School, Pender's Music, Rico Reed, Sabian Cymbals, Samson, Second Floor Music, Selmer Instruments, Seventh String, Share Music, Tower Records, Vic Firth Drumsticks, Warner Brothers Publishing, Winston Instruments, Woodwind Brasswind, Zildjian Cymbals, and again, as I said, scores of individuals and families. Their generosity has had a major impact and brought joy and tears of happiness to thousands of South African music students. We're most grateful for their support. Thank you.
After being given the opportunity to have the show, I was then able to comb through thousands of images that I've taken over the 4 tours that I've had the privilege of accompanying the jazz students on. These images that you're seeing here are a very small sampling. Most of them, many of them, are from the 2017 tour, mainly because my photography skills improved, so that, and because of the activities that were on this tour, gave me a great opportunity to capture a lot of South Africans and also our students experiencing great joy. This photo, which I've named Mama's Chicken, was actually taken from the bus, which is often the place where a lot of opportunity happens when taking photographs, because we're so often on the bus going from one location to another, so that a lot of times we're experiencing the townships in the area from the bus. And along with this photo of Mama's Chicken, we have other images of South Africans. This young man was so proud and played in a group called After Schools, which we'll see another image a bit further on. Their instruments are twice as big as they are. They played with such passion, and they were fearless when they were performing for us, and it was such a great joy to hear. This is a group from Amy Beale Foundation from a couple of years ago. And also one I'd like to point out here is a housing project that we went to. And this woman allowed us into her home so that we could see where she lived and how she lived. And so I just thought it was a beautiful portrait of her opening her heart to us. This next section is from the Amy Beale Township Festival, which is every March 21st, but they only have it when Milton Academy is on tour in South Africa. These images are from the parade that we had from the town over to the township school, and also performances during the township festival itself. This center one was actually the performance stage where a lot of different groups performed that day. This one was particularly impressive because the students were being asked to perform out in the hot sun with no shoes on this black platform, and part of what you noticed while they were performing was that they were trying to keep their feet off the ground because it was so hot and was probably burning their feet. But they put their all into it when they were performing for us. This center image, which I've named Feel the Joy, just seemed really appropriate for what we experience when we're on these tours, and so much of it is feeling the joy of being received by the South Africans, and especially for our students when they get up and perform, to an audience who just so cherishes hearing them and can't sit still in their seats. So most of what I see here are the joy of the South African people just on the streets. I have another photograph here of the After Schools, another student from the After Schools band that I talked about earlier, who was just fearless. And there's an Amy Beale group second from the right. And on the end, we have a woman from one of the housing projects. And it's so typical seeing their babies wrapped on their backs in a towel, and that's how they all carry their children around. This final series is trying to focus on the Milton Academy students, and in many cases in ways where they're interacting with South African students. It's one part of the tour is for the students to perform and also to be an audience for South African music groups, but it's also the interaction that they have sometimes in between sets or where they'll actually practice together and then perform together. This photo is a beautiful image of Ali Reed. This was from 2 years ago in 2015, and it was just showing the sort of spontaneity of what happens when the students are combined on stage and they're given the freedom to just play with music.
So we thank you for letting us share the wonderful photographs and the story of Milton Academy's Jazz South Africa tours. And we want to thank Jerry for his AV work. And we're going to close by having you enjoy the photos of the 2017 tour participants and some group photos. So thank you very much.